What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, y'all wanted the undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. to speak on regarding his upcoming fight with WBA welterweight world champion, Cuban star boxer, YORDENIS UGAS, who is 24 wins, 27 wins, 4 losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'9", with a 69-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence Jr. is 27 wins, no losses, no draw, 21 big wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, 5'9.5", with a 72-inch arm reach, and he's widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. That's scheduled to take place April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, better known as Jerry World, in a unification bout. All 3 belts will be on the line when that takes place, okay? And Errol Spence, he finally speaks on his rival, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Crawford. 38 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8", with a 74-inch arm reach. Okay. With that said, Errol Spence, he was at an event and he spoke on these things. Not only that, Errol Spence, he also spoke on the fact that people are counting him out. And Errol Spence, he says that a lot of people, they feel like he's finished. They feel like I'm done. And because of that, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, right? Errol Spence said, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to pick up that WBA belt April 16th. He said, once I pick up that WBA belt April 16th, we're definitely going after that WBO belt next. And we're going to prove everybody that I'm not done. Okay. He stated that, you know, a lot of people are counting me out because they feel like I'm done. And he just wanted to send the fans that support him and show him love, and let them know he's not done. He's coming back with a vengeance, and he's going to collect all those belts as he initially stated. I'm coming back. I'm going to collect those belts. Okay. So with that said, obviously Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, that makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. That's the fight that the entire boxing world wants to see. The 2 best welterweights and the top 2-3 best pound-for-pound fighters, and they're both undefeated in their absolute prime, go at it. Okay. What makes for a 50-50 fight, but it's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. Okay. So with that said, Errol Spence, he lets the world know, and, you know, he confirms and he assures the fans, I'm going after that WBO belt, okay? I'm going to have the IBF, I'm going to have the WBC, then I'm going to pick up this WBA belt, and then I'm going to pick up that WBO belt, okay? And he just want to assure the people and the fans that I'm still good, I'm healthy, and it's going to happen. And I'm back, I'm still my old self, okay? We know that Errol Spence, he's fought once in 2.5 years. Errol Spence, he suffered after unifying the belts against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter, September 28th of 2019. Errol Spence, he suffered a horrific car accident, which saw Errol Spence thrown from the car, and Errol Spence, you know, we didn't even know. There was a lot of questions to be answered. Didn't know if he was going to walk again. Didn't even know if he was going to talk the same. You know, the most concerning thing was, is Errol Spence healthy outside of the sport of boxing? Then the question started to be raised. Is Errol Spence going to be even able to compete in the sport of boxing? Okay. And then we saw Errol Spence, he finally spoke and he said that he was going to make a comeback. That was October 10th, okay, just 12 days after unifying the belts against Shawn Porter, to become the WBC IBF world champion. And then Errol Spence, he came back 14 months later. He fought 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, and he beat Danny Swift Garcia pretty handily in that fight December 5th of 2020, 14 months later. And Errol Spence, he let the world know, I was only 80% of myself in the fight with Danny Garcia, but it was a dominating performance against Danny Garcia. Okay, he made it he made it look very easy, and he still told us that he was only 80% of his normal self. Okay. And then Errol Spence, he was scheduled to make a comeback, get back in the ring August 21st of 2021 against legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pacman Pacquiao. Now, take this into consideration that the fans have been already wondering if Errol Spence is going to be back to 100% after he stated that he was only 80% of himself in the Danny Garcia fight. So is there still going to be lingering effects when he steps up and keeps stepping up in level of competition? Now, Danny Garcia is a high level of competition, but everybody's continuing to wonder, is he going to still be himself? Is he ever going to be his normal self in the dominating Errol Spence Jr.? Well, people weren't taking into consideration that Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, and he dominated him, but he didn't knock him out, okay? He fought Sean Porter. He separated himself in the championship rounds, okay? In the 10th round, he dropped Sean Porter. He won clearly 11-12 to separate himself in a very competitive, close fight, okay? And then he fought Danny Garcia, but you couldn't tell much of a difference in the Danny Garcia fight from the Mikey Garcia fight, okay? Sean Porter was a different fight because Sean Porter presses the fight every second of every minute of every round. So you couldn't really tell, make a distinct difference between Sean Porter. You can't compare those types of fights, okay? Because Sean Porter is more of a pressure fighter, where Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, it was more of a boxing match, okay? And so everybody wondered, we're going to get back to the version of Errol Spence that fought Kell Brook for his first world title opportunity in the UK, and Chris Algieri and Lamont Peterson. Are we going to get that version of Errol Spence back in the ring? Okay, and so now Errol Spence, even in those fights, Errol Spence had let the world know, I think it's being forgotten, that Errol Spence had already letting the world know that in between fights, he was, letting himself balloon up in weight. He wasn't taking camp serious. He was having weight loss camps instead of having camps where he was working on strategy. He wasn't working on strategy, he was working on losing weight. So Errol Spence, he's now with a strength and conditioning coach once again. It's not the same strength and conditioning coach we're used to seeing him with in Blue Ray Fitness, but he's gotten a newfound strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist. Back then, Errol Spence was saying he was doing his own nutrition. So now he has a nutritionist. He's strength and conditioning coach, and found a newfound appreciation for the sport of boxing and what it allows him in his career. So let's just listen to what Errol Spence had to say, because a lot of people, they were questioning, is Errol Spence going to fight Terence Crawford? He's avoiding Terence Crawford. Now, most recently, we heard Terence Crawford. He came out, and Terence Crawford, he stated that Errol Spence is just as hungry and just as eager to make the fight happen as he is, okay? And that's a huge thing that people question. Is Errol Spence, still willing to make the fight happen? Does he want to make the fight happen with Terence Crawford? Is he avoiding the fight? Is the 60-40 offer, is that the sticking point that's preventing this fight from coming from tuition? And Terence Crawford, he stated that that's not the case at all, okay? So let's listen to what Errol Spence had to say.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get that WBA belt, so I can get the IBF, WBC, champion of the world, and then we're all going to get the other one too.
So you can hear what he said, right? So I can't play obviously the whole audio. That was somebody else's audio. So but you heard what he said, that for the people that's doubting him and think that he's done. Okay, so let's listen to what he said about that, right? When he said that he feels like people are doubting him.
It's been a big comeback. This is my second comeback, and they thought I'd be done, but ever since then, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get that WBA belt, so I can get the IBF, WBC.
So you heard what he said. He said, this is going to be my second comeback. And many people, they already thought that I was done, and they already counted me out, and now I got my second comeback. And in my second comeback, I'm going to be able to prove to the people once again, that I'm not done. I'm going to pick up that WBA title on April 16th. And then on after that, I'm picking up that WBO title. Okay, so that's the words. That's what everybody had been looking for. Everybody had been waiting for. Everybody had been anticipating. They wanted to know, is Errol Spence going to, eagerly want to look to fight Terence Crawford? Is Errol Spence going to be healthy? You got a lot of people that are saying that Yordenis Ugas could upset Errol Spence. Okay, you got Sean Porter saying that Errol Spence could get upset. Okay, you even have Terence Crawford. Most recently, he came out. He said that you could possibly see an upset. Okay, then you have Kell Brook, who fought Errol Spence, and he fought Terence Crawford. Initially, he stated that he felt that Errol Spence was going to win the fight against Terence Crawford. And then Kell Brook, now after his fight, he stated that, after witnessing Terence Crawford against Sean Porter, he feels like he got to give the edge to Terence Crawford over Errol Spence. So, a lot of people are doubting Errol Spence. And the biggest reason for everybody doubting Errol Spence is simply because they don't know how he's going to come back physically. Is Errol Spence going to physically is the eye going to prevent him from physically competing in the manner we used to seeing him compete at? You even have, you have guys saying, that eye is going to hinder him. Okay. Timothy Bradley, he said that Errol Spence is seriously injured. That eye is very bad, and that's going to hinder him moving forward in his career. You have Andre Ward saying you just don't know what you're going to get from Errol Spence after suffering a horrific car accident. So there's a lot of people that's questioning and doubting Errol Spence. Now, I had one of Errol Spence's training partners, sparring partners on the show, and he stated that, Marvelous Jarvis, he stated that when he sparred Errol Spence has gotten stronger. He's gotten quicker. His ring IQ has gotten higher. And I think that that's a lot of attest to the fact that Errol Spence is more committed now than before back to the sport of boxing. Okay. I think that Errol Spence's diet, I think his strength and conditioning coach, that's going to play a major part. And I think we're going to see the version of Errol Spence that fought Chris Algieri and fought Lamont Peterson and Kell Brook. Okay. Not to mention, there's a lot of people doubting. You have Joe Casamayor, legendary, iconic Hall of Famer. He came out and he stated that this is going to be an easy fight for Yordenis Ugas, and then Yordenis Ugas seconded that. Yordenis Ugas said he does great against southpaws. Manny Pacquiao, Yordenis Ugas dominated Manny Pacquiao. Now, Errol Spence, he suffered a broken detached retina, and that eye, everybody's wondering, is it going to hinder him? Okay, so he's a southpaw. He was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. Errol Spence was August 21st, but he suffered the broken detached retina 2 weeks before the fight and had to be pulled from the fight. Okay, and then Yordenis Ugas replaced him, and he dominates Manny Pacquiao, outboxing him and outclassing him, and then it's out of sight, out of mind. Okay, so he's fought once in 2.5 years, and it's a case of out of sight, out of mind. And Errol Spence let the world know there's a lot of people doubting me. Here's my second comeback, and I'm going to prove the world wrong. I'm picking up that WBA strap April 16th. Then I'm picking up that WBO strap immediately following. So there you have it. But that's all I got for y'all. Let's see what happens and how this plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Road. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.